A Praetorian's helmet is the symbol of his confidence, and it's also the last thing his enemies will ever see. No matter the fear, the hatred, courage, or chaos in his heart, when a Praetorian puts on his helmet, he becomes one thing and one thing only: an engine of war. A somewhat simple concept to draw in 2D, but a little more complex to model in 3D. So welcome back to the Comfee Mug channel and to part 3 of the Banner of Souls Devlog series. Let's get into it. Now, before I could add the details that make this helmet design really stand out, I first needed to establish the general shape of the helmet, which was a bit more messy than I anticipated, but I think my chat and I had fun modeling on stream. What do you think? I just want to get the general idea. Move this up. I figured that the shape of this will end up looking pretty janky until we actually finish. I actually want to start cutting into some of this. That could connect over there. There we go. Ooh, we just did this here. That actually all clicked into place there for the most part. And that'll make room for the breathing apparatus that we have going on here. For these Praetorians, by the way, I came up with a material that will allow for nearly infinite oxygen source. Not oxygen tanks, but very similar concept. Now, at this point, it just looked like I had modeled a lumpy rock on top of my Praetorian's head. So I needed to refine the edges, points, and curves a little more, which was probably the most fun part of the modeling process for this Praetorian's helmet. It's this type of detail work that just comes a lot more intuitively to me, and also seems to make the most visual progress in the least amount of time. And using a simple geometry node setup that detects edges, check out the tutorial in the description if you want to learn how to set it up yourself. It was really satisfying to just watch all of the edges snap right into place. But as I was almost done shaping the stone helmet of my Praetorian, a new challenge began to rear its head. You see, the Praetorian's visor isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. Each sub-faction within the Praetorian army has its own unique look based on the region of the world they're from or what subterranean level they're about to operate in, which there are 9 of, and more on that in a future video. But given all those factors, the visors have to be adaptable to their environment, but the base model of their helmet will always stay the same. And with the start of a second live stream, I got to work on designing the visor for one of the central characters whose name is Ptorians. And I'm realizing my chat and I just talked about random shows and art styles while I modeled this visor, and we usually have a lot of fun talking on stream together. You should definitely join us in the future sometime. But since this is a devlog for my Banner of Souls story, I really want to tell you a little bit more about the stone alloy this armor is coated in. You see, the Praetorians call it tempered alabaster, and it's a mixture of several raw minerals that are refined into a singular sturdy material. And though most of the raw substances that are used to comprise tempered alabaster are mostly mundane, like sand or clay, the one crucial ingredient to this mixture is a new element I'm calling chrysolith, which is the only physical material in the world of Banner of Souls that naturally reacts to magic. It isn't quite resistant to magic in its raw form, but when refined by intense heat, this material goes from being reactive to more repulsed by magic, which is an interesting parallel to the mentality and militaristic stance that the Praetorians hold themselves. Tempered alabaster is the only reason why the Praetorians have been able to fight back against their enemies, those being all the people and entities who have been touched by magic. Though, given the nature of the magic itself and its origin, it's not as unnatural as the Praetorians have chosen to believe, and they've become blind to its true nature and purpose, only seeing it for the way it's been twisted for thousands of years. But that'll have to be the topic of another video in the future. For now, we can focus back on the modeling process at hand. Now, getting the outline of the visor was the fun and easy part. Making it curve around the shape of the helmet now, that was another story. I tried to find a workaround to make it smoothly wrap around without using the shrink wrap modifier, because that was just going haywire. But I ended up just having to shape it manually. In hindsight, I probably could have just used the curve modifier to do this perfectly. But hey, who needs easy technical perfection when you can just brute force it? Even still, with a little patience and some great music, I was able to get the job done, and pretty well, if I do say so myself. And after finalizing the shape of the visor implemented into the helmet, I added a few more modifications, such as the crest and crown of the helmet, which has a greater purpose to define the rank of the Praetorian who's wearing it. However, having only designed the crowning from one angle in Krita, I realized my original design would look a lot different from other angles when translated to 3D. And I worked quite a lot on trying to get the right shape, height, edge flow, and perspective translation, but as I continued to make more and more changes, I realized I needed to just overhaul the crown design and shape it without a reference. And that's one of the things that I really love about working in 3D, is that the more I model and adjust and change the original designs, the more I'm refining what my characters will end up looking like. I'm never locked into one specific design, which allows me to constantly improve the result. And I imagine I'll be making many more changes and edits to the original design until the character is fully modeled. And with a lot more characters and creatures to model, I hope you will be ready for many, many more Banner of Souls devlogs to come. So remember to leave a like and comment to support the channel and my animated series. You guys are so awesome for sticking around to the end. Thank you so much. And if you want to do more to support the channel and get some pretty cool assets and perks in the process, then consider becoming a channel member or a patron. My loyal supporters are the #1 reason why I can do what I do here. And I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my Elder Mug members who do the most to make these videos possible. You guys are seriously the best. I couldn't do this without you. Make sure to check out another Comfee Mug video like this one if you want some encouragement and advice on your own art journey, and I will see you in the new year with the next update for this Banner of Souls animated series.